So it's the day of the Prague Marathon. I didn't intend particularly to be here on the day of the Prague Marathon. Had I known, I might have planned to watch it. Oh dear. But they're going along the road near here. I suppose the taxi driver's got to get his route sorted out according to what's possible. Not that many runners in comparison with what I'm used to seeing in Warsaw. Let's get focused up on them a bit. That side of the road. Something to better view. See, what I was really doing today is going to the zoo. This is just an unexpected bonus. People playing music, live music along the side of the running track. Somebody's managed to give themselves a bit of a sprain there. I don't know how far down this is, what level they're at the moment, but let's assume it started at 9. It's now quarter to 12, so they've been running for 2 and 3/4 hours, which for many of them will be about halfway down. Judging by the kind of running, this guy's not very fit. I would suggest that probably about halfway down the course for them, judging by the kind of running that you can see and the time in that it must be. More water stop-off points than in the Warsaw one, it seems. The Warsaw Main Marathon isn't until September, of course. There's a half marathon in April. It's the 9th of May anyway, and I'm going to the zoo. The way of being driven to the zoo, of course, is rather strange. But never mind, I'll be able to analyse it later, since I'm tram number 12. That was a bridge, but I don't think it went over a river. I think the river's already bent around before now. We're still following the path of the marathon. So it looks like there's really no choice in how we do it. See Prague TV tower on that side. Oh, 37 kilometers down. Now that's quite surprising. If that's 37, then they're actually in the home straight, and they're actually doing quite well. It's actually quite fast runners here. They come around that corner. always amazes me in Prague is actually the lady policemen with their hair out, their long hair sort of in all directions. Doesn't seem to me to be particularly disciplined. Looks a little bit slovenly, you know. If they do want to have long hair, then they ought to tie it up to be on duty. It doesn't make any kind of sense to have a policewoman on duty with her hair all out like that. It doesn't look good at all. And also, I don't think it's very safe, because if you do get a criminal, they just pull them by the hair. That won't be very nice for them. So, zoo poster, I suppose we're getting closer to it. One of those little blue and white clocks you see from place to place in Prague. Anyway, yesterday I completely failed to go to the zoo. I tried to go to the zoo. I completely failed because workers were in the flat for too long, and I didn't end up getting out until 2 or 3 hours later than it is today. But today you see there's clouds in the sky. And it's not looking so good as far as chances of avoiding rain are concerned. Yesterday it was quite sunny. Well, I say quite sunny, it was medium, let's say. So we're going to have a look at the zoo in Prague, which Forbes magazine, which did a ranking of zoos, I think from the point of view not so much of their scientific value, although that may have been part of it, but of their pure value for a day out, put Prague Zoo 7th in the world. It's not a big zoo, the space is actually not very large at all, which is a shame really, because it's nice to give animals a lot of space, but then again not all animals are big animals. And there's lots of small animals which many zoos just simply overlook. And if Prague Zoo has some of those, which apparently it does, you know, which are not too common, then that will be well worth coming for. Now, if you walk it from my house then the total amount of time taken is 6 kilometres. So this guy seems to have taken an awful lot longer than 6 kilometres to do it. I don't know how much I'm going to have to pay the guy, but I would have expected it to be about 150 max. And already it's looking up to 300 crowns on this thing, so it's ridiculous really. And the guy might have told me he wasn't able to take me there directly. I think I might have a row with him in a minute. I shall simply record for posterity the guy's number when I get out. This is the area that you get dropped off at. I had a bit of a barney with him, and he dropped it from 350 just to 200. That's inclusive of tip. Because not only did he not tell me that there was a marathon, it would take me a long time to get around it. Also, I'm not convinced that I think he made a bit of a meal of it. I'm not 100% convinced that he was completely kosher, because he didn't even have bills to give me. So I made a meal out of that. Not that I would have taken it off the company for going to the zoo, but I made just some extra thing to make a meal out of, and he dropped me down to 200 crowns from the 350 on the meter. So sometimes it's worth giving people grief, and I think he deserved it really, because he could have mentioned that it was going to be a long journey. That's what he should have done. Anyway, that's the queue to the... If you come here, then there's the queue to the tickets. Just the typical Czech or Prague system at any rate is, as you see, the daily rate is a third of the annual rate. So you could, if you're a Prague resident, it's actually a lot cheaper than it is for casual visitors from elsewhere. That's very, very typical. Prague has a lot of things that are constructed that way to make it cheap for their own, but rather dear for other people. Not that 150 crowns is a lot, actually. It's not a lot. It's about £5. So I'm not really complaining about it. There's the information centre. I also, there's the ticket to get in with a monitor lizard on it. There's a Przewalski's horse. I think that's the case. On the plan, you can buy a plan to show you what's going on here. There's so got to try and find out the best way. Really, then best way to I don't know what this is to doing it, but now got to go through the machine. Well, it works like everything else. Oh, you've got to stick it in there. Okay. Actually, to stick it in, I thought it was just a reader. Right. And if you want to see whether this is really the Prague Zoo or not, then actually what I've noticed is that on Google Earth, as I was researching this, on Google Earth, or Google Maps even, the Google Street Walker, as I like to call her, actually can come right into the zoo and ply her trade walking around these alleys. So you can actually go around the zoo in a virtual way with the Google Street Walker. Now here's the main entrance, and you can take it really in various ways. Like any zoo, you could take it clockwise or anti-clockwise, counterclockwise. Because it's getting a bit rainy, I'm looking for pavilions or that's big mammals pavilion. There's the Indonesian jungle, that looks interesting. So I think the thing to do, it looks like, oh look, there's 3,545 people here at the moment. So either that or came in through the gate, some of them may have left. So you can take it around various ways. I'm just trying to look and see what there is. I think the thing to do really, it's open till 6, the thing to do is to take it in a certain order. And I think that there seems to be more going on down this way than there is right over there. That looks like a big area where you need to walk a lot to see less. So I think what I'll do is I shall take the clockwise approach, which means going off down in that direction. Yeah. I can't have this on the whole time because it's on HD. It's probably be something which I'll give you in 3 parts or something. It's very, very green, lots of nice trees all over the place. There's your telephone box. There's like a restaurant in there, so far I've been here a few moments, haven't seen any actual animals yet. But this is the education centre. I'll see what that has to offer. Actually holding this up. Oh. Now is it, that's a funny thing, isn't it, to actually have foxes' furs on sale. Not exactly in line with conservation. Not quite what you'd expect in a zoo to have the furs of their dead animals on sale, but there's the badgers and everything. Oh, there we are. There's the wolf's fur I'm really shocked. Fancy selling those things. Not too expensive either, actually. That's hardly in line with conservation, in my opinion. But there we go. Shocking. Mind you, it just goes to show that there's a different perception of things. The further east you go, the perception differs of things. What we would call conservation isn't necessarily the same idea here. So still haven't seen any animals. This is starting to remind me of Gdańsk a bit. I was quite away in Gdańsk before they... But this is similar to London Zoo in that there's a lot of structure to it, there's a lot of infrastructure to it. So what we got here, at 13:30, which is a way off yet, I mean this is now midday, so you'd hardly believe it from the sky. Gosh, and you can even bring dogs in. That's an amazing thing, isn't it? You wouldn't be able to bring dogs into any British zoo, in my opinion. You've got these seats up there, no doubt, so that they can make these things do tricks, whatever they are. Right. These are sea lions, aren't they? Several of them. Oh, there's a few over there doing... Are they doing Rudies? I think they are. The big one's obviously the male, that's how it tends to be with seals. He put his flipper up pretending to be a killer whale to frighten everybody. There's another female there not getting the attention of the male. She's obviously the less attractive one. There's plenty of things for kids to climb on anyway. Not sure what's on the old... Oh, it's not a sea lion. It's a Cape seal, Arctocephalus pusillus. It's a good job I know a bit of. It's a good job that I know a little bit of Latin, isn't it? Because it's mainly in Czech. Arctocephalus pusillus. Oh, sorry, I take it all back. It's South African fur seal. So it's not a sea lion at all. And Lachtan Iho-Africki, South African sea lion. The male voice differs from the female's voice. So there you go. You're not allowed to get on the stones, which is a bit of a pity because they look so climbable. There's the artist's impression of the common ancestor between ourselves and these Lachtani. This tamarisk is coming nicely into flower. All three of my tamarisks managed to die in the winter because it's quite a long, hard winter. So, here we have the pavilion of Plishaków, whatever a Plishak is. Remember that in Czech, animals are have very different names. Oh, Plishakis means tough toys. So once again, Instead of real animals, we've got a shop selling stuffed toys. I'm starting to understand how they can afford to allow people into a zoo for only like £5. You know how much London Zoo would cost? An awful lot more. 10 times more. No, not 10 times more. 10 times more if you start bringing a few people, but about 4 times more, that's for sure. So there's the seals area. You can go up a stage and look at it from above. Right, I'll turn this off because there's not an awful lot happening here. This is good though. You come around the back, you come into a little cave like this, and you can... That's not real time, that's a film of them being fed. But you can come down here and see the actual activity, the swimming going on underwater. That's, I think we're in the wrong part though. I see, that's what I'd have seen if I'd have come around that way. Okay. Well, that's nice. It's a little bit like the good old London Zoo, but these people are watching quite a way away from where anything's actually going on. It's nice to see them underwater, not just from above. Architecturally, it's actually just the same high quality as you'd get in London Zoo. That's quite good, wasn't it? So, penguins. Sign shows what different sorts they've got in there. And it's all nice and indoors in case they get too cold, of course. You don't want them freezing or anything like that in the European winter. So they make sure that everything's properly translated so that the international visitors to Prague kept up to date on what's going on here. There seem to be more booths and things for people to... Oh, a lot of that penguin thing is actually out in the open. And it seems to be backed up against the where the sea lions are, so it's probably the same water circulating about a bit, just so that the penguins can smell the seals. That is a good idea though, having the glass sides. It's quite deep in the middle, that's good. Lots of stalls doing business out here. This one's the Fair Trade Association. So they're selling bananas that come from tropical countries instead of bananas that were grown in cold countries. Oh, here we go. There's probably actually something up there by the looks. What are they? Vultures? Yes, they're vultures. So if you're in the desert and you see one of those things looking at you, he's not wishing you well, that's for sure. Bald eagles. I hope my American viewers appreciate this symbol of their country sitting there. I can see a lot of roseate flamingos. See there? Oh, this is a big bird. If you happen to wake up in the desert and see this thing leaning over you, it's not the best news. Is that a bateleur eagle? Is that what they call that one? The eagles here are really very nice. Is that a monkey-eating eagle? What's this one called? Oh no, it's the that thing which is half eagle, half vulture, isn't it? The orlo soup. They don't put it into English, so I can't remember what it's actually called. They haven't even got that one in Latin, which is tiresome. But never mind. I think these ones over here are bateleur eagles. Oh, they do have something here. Gipatus barbatus. So it's a bearded vulture in English. Orło sępy is the same in Polish. Bearded vulture in English, I don't really know the English term. So there you go. Bateleur eagle, that's quite a hook he's got on the end of his beak, isn't it? And another one over there. I say bateleur eagle, I ought to check. Oh, it's a Steller sea eagle. This shows what I know, nothing. I don't know nothing. It's from this part though, around where I used to look at the forest. Orel wychodny, as it says, the eastern eagle. That's what they're calling it here. Now I don't think I've ever seen those particular birds, and there's a little picnic area here. Oh, here we go. Don't let me stop you. Okay. didn't want to do it again. But you see, this is the funny thing. See, sometimes I suppose those things with the cry are good at provoking them into making the noise they're supposed to make. It's getting a little bit more than spotting with rain. That big brown vulture again. See, a lot of people like to take normal photographs of this and they think they can get great photos, and no doubt they can. Probably the individual photos they can take of these birds is better than you can get on a film, but you're not getting the motion. Look at the motion that there is. Look at the way they're walking around with their heads up, looking from right to left, and the noises that they make. That's why film is worth much more than still. I don't take stills much anymore. You know, I used to, because I did all those gallery shots, gallery films. You've got the commentary, you've got the ambient noises, you've got the animal noises, you've got the motion. You've got the feel of being here. It's on HD+, you can pump up to your full screen. You'll probably see exactly the same thing as I'm seeing now. Exactly the same colours if you've got a good monitor. The only difference is it's not as high up. The human eye sees a fairly round kind of image, whereas this is a long thin image, or broad thin image. Probably seeing about as broadly as I am at the moment, but although just the movement of the eye would make it broader, of course, but up and down the human eye sees a lot more than the camera. But then that's not necessarily looking at things which are going to be relevant anyway. Something's walking in this direction and it seems to be a tapir. Now let me just show my ignorance off one more time. Is this the Malay tapir or the Brazilian tapir, the one that's got no... That's the Brazilian tapir, isn't it? It's got no... Or the South American tapir, the ones that have got no saddle mark, black and yellow. The Malay tapir is the one with the black and yellow, black and white rather. Am I right, or have I got it wrong again? Yes, I got it right this time. This time I did get it right. This is the South American one, Tapirus terrestris. Whether it's one sort or the other sort, though, you wouldn't want to get in between a mother one and its calf, because they are quite strong and aggressive. Is this a secretary bird using its tools? You show us a bit of that tool use you're so famous for. See, it's got the pen in its beak already, the secretary bird. It's going to take dictation. Take a letter, Mrs. Greengross. And of course it isn't even a secretary bird. It seems to be very similar to secretary bird, but it's being called something completely different. It's being called, according to this, a red-legged seriema. I just tried to push off that thing against the ground. And here's a snake in 3D. It's only a model one though, which for some reason, I don't know what reason it's got to be there, but a very hearable voice. Let's see if I can provoke the voice. Nope, this button doesn't work, the voice button on this, which means we'll have to take their word for it. But it's a seriema apparently, not a secretary bird at all. But it's still got the pen in its mouth, and it's just waiting for me to say to the manager of Sunshine Desserts, Nice looking one with its wings up. Now, because the tapers are not completely safe, they've put an electric fence there and they've just warned you to keep your fingers off it. So there's a zoo worker cleaning out their area. This Lunak Cherveni milvus is a red kite. I see, well I've filmed those before in the wild, of course, over my sister's house. Those of you who've seen everything in this channel will be aware of that, because it's come back in force to Britain. That looks like just a kind of another picnic area. There's no shortage of them here. I better turn this off from time to time so that I've got more choices as to where to cut off between part 1 and part 2. But, nice deer there with their backs to each other. Something else over there.